What is up, YouTube, and welcome to this Encounter movie review and ending explained. Now, Riz Ahmed continues to win and puts in one hell of a performance in this thriller full of twists and turns. Now, we follow Malik as he is seemingly first on a mission involving bugs that take over your body in some sort of invasion of the body snatchers story, and appeared to be having special orders as he sprays himself and keeps seeing more and more bugs that appear to be following him around. It's a pretty clever move, and the shots show the anxiety and mental fragility we would learn that Malik has very, very well. Now we cut to his kids who are with his ex-wife, and it's Bobby who he's writing to, and his mother has a new partner, which is of course something that does not sit well with Malik, and Bobby is old enough to remember his dad, whereas his younger brother is far too young and actually has a good relationship with Daryl. It's why Malik had an easy time convincing these kids that there are alien bugs out there, and to make matters worse, his ex-wife is pregnant. It's not long before Malik arrives and takes the kids on a trip, convinced that their mother and stepfather are, in quotes, infected, and takes them away. It's quite obvious that he's not telling the truth, as he seems erratic and plays the part of his dad gone rogue far too well, which is a testament to Riz Ahmed's skills, and sadly the movie does lose steam once you realise that this is not true, and this base, whatever it is, they're going to is not what it is. It's not scientists working on a cure. And everything starts to break down when Malik is pulled over and attacks a police officer, which does really affect Bobby. And they get to a grocery store, and the youngest child runs off, scared at a homeless woman who they think is mind-controlled, and Malik berates Bobby for causing a scene and not being the man that he wants him to be, and is relegated to the back seat. Bobby slowly starts to realise that something is up, as there's not been anything on the news about this, and we slowly realise that the mother and stepfather aren't infected, they were simply locked up the night they left. Further confirming that these alien bugs are not actually real is when he calls his parole officer when it's evident that he is simply a dad who snapped. He asks her to check on his ex-wife, as Bobby mentions that his wife, or his mother, has some weird symptoms, like weird cravings, which proves that she's pregnant, and not symptoms of her being mind controlled by weird bugs. And the kidnap is then reported, and Hattie made a mistake by giving him a chance to turn himself in and not reporting it for like 24 hours. We learn that he did 10 tours of, I presume, Afghanistan and Iraq, but beat up his commanding officer near the end of his tours. However, trying to make up for her mistake and save the kids from possibly being killed, as the police think that he is a guy who's going to snap and kill his kids in the ultimate revenge, well, she speaks to his former army colleague, and Malik just snapped. He had seen it, or just come off of a mission, 2 of his friends were killed, and that was that. That's why he beat up his superior officer there. And a year ago, started sending him weird stuff about this make-believe invasion. Now, his thoughts have been left stewing in prison, and I think that he made all of this up in his mind to make up for what happened, and a kind of a rationale for why he's hurt people and why people are affecting his life and why his life is not how he wants it to be. He simply wants to be with his kids. However, this make-believe thing that he's come up with is not going very well. Weirdly, we've got all the documents which we see, but I don't really trust what we see or have that he has, because it could be made up. It could be him in his head typing it up and then printing it off. But things go from bad to worse when they arrive at an old guy's house, and a shootout ensues as Malik is injured. By now, the police have a full-scale manhunt for him, and as Bobby goes to get some medicine for his father, the police are tipped off by the pharmacy worker there, and the kids of the man chase them as we get a shootout. These 2 militia 1% guys are just absolutely destroyed by Malik, whose military training is far too good for them. And it's quite an interesting and tense scene there. that he's put his children in such big danger. He kind of realizes this as he's like, he says that they're going to go back to the mother because they're cured, or the mother's cured. I think he's starting to snap out of this, but it leads them to a dramatic showdown where Bobby runs out to try and save his father, thinking he's going to be shot. Now, it's a very interesting scene, and we saw kind of like aliens, and this the whole kind of plot of the movie, that there is supposedly this thing which isn't real, but we see him hug his father, and then we have like the lights and things like that. Now we get somewhat of a happy ending as Malik is not killed, Bobby is not killed, and they look up at the light, and it's a very curious one there. It's a very really good way of showing the whole subtext of this movie, as Malik is finally at peace with his son. Now, was the ending what I wanted it to be? I think that the movie was an interesting way of showing that the mental fragility of someone who has lost their kids like this, and has to deal with obviously everything that has happened in their PTSD and things like that. But I admit it did lose a lot of steam once you realise what is going on, and is kind of like a normal sort of thriller. But the performances were next to none. But that is it for this video. Please drop a like down below. Do subscribe with notifications on, and I'll see you soon, and goodbye.